If you've been looking for a remote job and you have not been able to progress past the interviewing phase, today you are in luck because I have been working for years. I'm not going to tell you exactly how many years, but trust me, it's over 10 years now. I've been working for over 10 years, and every single time I have been called for an interview, I have never been turned away. I remember there's even a time when I interviewed for 2 positions and I was offered both the jobs and I had to choose where do I want to go. So I want to put you in the same situation where each and every time you attend an interview, you are not turned away. You're going to be the person that they want to work with. So obviously, there are way more things that I'm going to be sharing on this channel in terms of remote work, interviewing, and all of that. But in this video, it's just these 3 things that I have figured always work for me. The first thing is research. I personally talk about research a lot because I have seen how much it helps, whether it's in you preparing your CV, it's you preparing for an application online, or you're preparing for an interview. Research is a very crucial part of everything you do, especially if you're trying to land a job, a remote job at that. So once you have managed to send your CV and they have taken you through this whole process of your online application, or maybe you've even done assessments, when you get to the interviewing process, you want to make sure when you show up for that interview, you know what you're doing. And the best way to do that is to make sure you've done your research. And with research, I mean you have researched the role that you are applying for. You have researched the company. And if possible, try to find out who are the people who might be interviewing you. This is actually something I talk about in my remote work masterclass, just putting it out there. You want to do that. And for example, for me, when I was getting interviewed for the role that I'm in now, the remote job that I do now, I was part of I think 3 or up to 5 different candidates they were going to interview. I went ahead, looked for the company online because they told me the name of the company. Once I got to their website, I went on to check how big the company was, and lucky for me. And you are in luck if it's not a big company, because that way it's easier to narrow down or who might interview you. So after looking at it, I kind of had an idea that it will either be the partners, the people who own the law firm, and at least one other person who is in a managerial position. And boy, did I hit the nail on the head. I made it my life's purpose for the few days that I was preparing for my interview. I made it my life's purpose to get to know these people. I was on their LinkedIn, I was on their Facebook, I was looking for them online, getting to know which universities did they go to, which courses have they done online, what things have they done, what are they interested in. And that helps when you get to an interview. You don't want to sound like a robot. You want to be able to have a conversation. Yes, it's a question and answer, but you don't want to be in a situation where you're just stiff and you're just answering question. You want to make it conversational. And if you get to know these people's interests, if you get to know a lot more about them, you are able to create points of connection with them. And also, if you do your own research on what the role really requires, you are in a better position to be able to highlight the qualities and the skills that you bring to the table that will benefit this company in this specific role. The second thing that you want to do is to prepare for behavioral questions. This is something I've picked up when it comes to remote positions. Most companies will ask you behavioral questions, and behavioral questions are basically questions that want to know how you process, how your thought process goes. How do you deal with things? How do you deal with people? Whether it's in your personal life, in your working life, but obviously you're in an interview. So they're more concerned about how you handle situations and people in a working environment. So prepare to answer these behavioral questions. And the best way to answer behavioral questions is to use the STAR method. I have talked about this in one of my videos, which is up here, so have a look. I'm sure you will find it helpful. Lastly, you also want to make sure you humanize your interviewer or your interviewers. You don't want to walk in an interview or show up on Zoom or Teams for your interview feeling like you're talking to these superior beings. You want to look at this as a two-way conversation, a two-way interview. They are not doing you a favor. You are not doing them a favor. You guys are trying to figure out if you are the right fit for each other. So take it that way, and please watch this next video. I'm sure you would love it.